Thank you, Brian, for your introduction. And indeed, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance of this session brought to you by IAG. Guys, by way of background, Lisa and I connected over our mutual values quite serendipitously via LinkedIn. As we at IAG were really solving the problem of connecting with our stakeholders during the COVID-19 lockdowns. At IAG, our partnerships must clear several hurdles before execution, and each partnership hinges on the core tenet of trust. Trust between the counterparty organisations that we're dealing with, trust between the individuals representing those counterparty organisations, and of course, trust in our products. And traditionally, face-to-face engagements were our primary means of establishing this trust and rapport. As that option disappeared during the COVID-19 lockdowns, we're really deploying multiple mechanisms to connect with our customers, brokers, industry bodies, and underwriters. One of those being the method of digital distribution. And what we're finding is that the byproduct of this approach is the humanization of our business by leveraging our own people, not only to represent us, but also influence our environment on our behalf. And the power of video and the democratization of broadcasting means that every single person and every single business on the planet is now a media company. And that not only delivers opportunity, but also entails risk. The question is, how can we turn this risk into opportunity? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be rejoining this discussion in closing, but in the meantime, please join me in welcoming the Director of Cody Agency and your presenter for this session, Lisa Tay. Over to you, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Samita, and thank you so much to yourself, the IAG team, to Brian and Jess and everyone from RIMS Australasia for having me today. I'm just really thrilled that I remember to take myself off mute. Obviously, that's a bit of a challenge during ISO, and I've made that mistake quite a number of times. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to tune into today's topic. Now, I'm obviously going to be talking about something which is a little bit different to risk management. So I hope that you can bear with me, because I'm really excited to hopefully open your mind to the possibilities that are there in the digital world. So in today's talk, I will be covering what it actually means to influence the unseen and how you can do this through a robust digital strategy. And I also want you to be able to walk away with some practical tips for not only your organisation, but yourself as well, to help you manage the risk by influencing the unseen in the digital world. So I'm very much a big fan of making sessions as interactive as possible. So what I want to do is encourage you all to submit your questions, because Sumita and I are going to be having a hopefully enlightening chat post my presentation. So I'm actually going to jump straight in, and I thought that I would begin by giving you a little bit of information about myself and share my experiences of the opportunities that I've gained by influencing the unseen. Because I actually started my career as a tax lawyer. So I started at KPMG, one of the big four accounting firms, made my way through law firms and the tax office. And then I actually made a career change into marketing and fashion, and then started my own digital marketing company about 5 years ago. Now, during this whole time of my career, and I don't really want to tell you how long because I don't want to show my age, but I actually was never active on LinkedIn. And I'm not sure the reason why that was the case. So I never posted any content. I, in fact, probably just used it to look for jobs, maybe build a couple of connections with people. But on the whole, I was not seeing it as a platform that would necessarily give a lot of value to my career. And then towards the end of last year, so I'd say probably about eight to 10 months ago, I started helping one of my business partners, because I looked at his content, and because I came from the world of Instagram, I looked at his content on LinkedIn and I said, hey, you should try this instead. Oh, I saw you did this post on this. Why don't you try this instead and this instead? Because I had that content background. And then he goes, oh, this is actually all just a bit too hard now. Can you help me do it? And, you know, at Cody Agency, we do digital marketing. So we help businesses get active on digital platforms. And so I thought, yeah, you know what? We do this for Instagram clients. Surely it can't be that hard for LinkedIn. So then we started getting posts up for him and working on processes for that. And then I thought, oh, I should probably start doing this myself, because for me personally, I love getting my hands dirty, and I love actually doing and getting active on social media platforms. So I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't, definitely do. He's amazing. But he always says when a new social media platform comes out, what you should do is spend 10 hours on it and post 10 pieces of content, and that's the best way you learn. So I always took that approach in digital marketing because social media platforms are changing by the day. So I thought, okay, I better immerse myself in the world of LinkedIn. And I'm definitely someone who's an all or nothing personality. So I found myself quickly starting to post pretty much every single day on LinkedIn. And at first I thought, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what I should be posting. I don't know what people are probably going to think of my content. I don't even know best practice. So I started doing all that research, but there's no quicker way to learn about a platform than actually just getting active and starting to engage with your community and starting to post content. So from there, it was actually quite incredible because I started getting all these different opportunities because I was being seen. And I was able to do amazing things and create amazing things and get business for my for Cody just through posting on LinkedIn and getting active. So I'm going to share with you a presentation. So I'm going to run you through what I spoke about earlier, but I actually wanted to just start off. So hopefully you can see my screen and not my messy desktop. But I wanted to open up by sharing with you some of the amazing experiences that I've had just by posting on LinkedIn, which I never would have thought possible. So firstly, I'm here today, and I can honestly tell you, if someone said to me 10 months ago, you're going to be presenting at a global risk management conference, I would have laughed and I would have said, no way, that's not possible. But I'm here today, so I'm living proof that amazing things can happen. I've met incredible people, especially during Corona, when we've all been in lockdown. So, and I'm actually in Melbourne, probably the most lockdown city in the world. So we really haven't been able to venture out. So I've been lucky enough to be able to create amazing connections, such as, the one with IAG and Sumita in particular. And it's given me, opportunities such as me being here today. But I wanted to share with you that I've been fortunate enough to work with an amazing charity, which is the top right picture. So we help alleviate or raise money to help alleviate food insecurity in Australia. I actually got to interview Gary Vee, and this is us making a smoothie and then trying to scull the smoothie. Unfortunately, I lost that sculling challenge. I've had the chance to interview some incredible people, including the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. He's a crazy character. Really interesting though. Definitely head to our YouTube, check that out if you want to see us in action. And then most recently I interviewed Mark Randolph, who's the co-founder of Netflix. And, I actually got the chance to interview him by sending him a message on LinkedIn, because I noticed that he had actually engaged with some of the posts that I tagged him in. And I just thought, I've got nothing to lose. Why not just slide into his DMs and see what he says? And to my surprise, he actually wrote back. And so I'm going to say he's a friend. He wouldn't say I'm a friend. He probably just thinks I'm a crazy person, but he's been incredibly generous with his time, and we've actually had the chance to have a few chats with him. So that's been incredible. And then most recently, I've had the opportunity to be running for the Deputy Lord Mayor of Melbourne. So hopefully I'll get our city out of lockdown. But if someone said to me 10 months ago, you're going to get that opportunity, I would have absolutely not believed them for a second. So to be honest with you, I really wanted to open up with this because I can't tell you how much LinkedIn has changed my life. And I really want all of you, whether you have posted before or whether you've, thought about it but not done it, or whether you're not interested at all, I just want you to keep an open mind, because it's really changed my life and changed the fortunes of my business. So I want all of you to have the same opportunities and get, incredible opportunities in your life. And I really believe that LinkedIn is an amazing platform to allow you to do that. So you're probably wondering, what on earth does her topic mean, influencing the unseen? So obviously when it comes to influencing things in risk management that you can see, like, if there's a ladder precariously placed against the wall, we can see that and we can quickly mitigate that risk. However, when it comes to unseen factors that impact business, such as their reputation or their brand or even trust in a brand, it's actually really hard to control those things because, you know, it's almost like it's really difficult to control what you can't see. So when we talk about reputation risk in the digital world, that can be brought about, or damage to reputation can be brought about by insensitive posts, or even a failure to respond to harmful comments, or even having the wrong response to a harmful comment. So for us, it's really important that, you know, when we talk about being active on digital, I think people and businesses are naturally scared to do that because, look, I'll be honest with you, it opens up the doors to people and to trolls, for example, or people writing negative things about you. But what I can say is, given the current climate and the way that digital is rapidly advancing in our world, the risk is actually not being, the risk actually isn't about being active on digital. The risk is if you're not active. That's actually the problem here. Because if you're not active, pretty much you don't exist, especially in a world where so much of us are locked down and we're not out walking the streets as we normally do. If you're not able to be found, if you don't have a platform where you can have a voice, you risk just becoming completely irrelevant. And that, for me as a business owner and someone who works with a lot of businesses, is a really big risk. So for me, there's no more important investment that you can make in marketing than investing in digital. So when it comes to brand, that's obviously a bit of an unseen factor, but it's very, very important because your brand is your promise to your clients. So if people believe they share the values with the company, then they'll be likely to be more loyal. So if we can build brand and brand loyalty through digital and being active on the platform, then that's going to be a really amazing way to build advocates for your brand. So not even people who are loyal, but people who will actually go out and promote what you're doing, which is really the ultimate. Like, that word of mouth referral is something that money just can't buy. And then we move on to trust. Now, arguably, this is one of the most crucial points in business. So it's important to obviously not only have trust in the workplace, but it's important for your clients and the wider community to have trust in your business. And this is particularly important in the area of risk management. So we all know that things are going to go wrong, and that's just life, but it's how you actually act in those situations that can make or break a business. So do you, and I think this is a question that I want all of you to think about, it's like, do your employees and your team and your customers trust that you'll do the right thing by them? Because if they don't, then that's a really big problem. But the exciting thing is, this is something that we can definitely build through digital. So, and it's actually quite exciting for me because I've been working a lot with different businesses and corporates and enterprise over the past couple of months, because a lot of them are interested in getting active on the platform, but they're just not sure how to do it. So hopefully I'll give you some great tips from today's session. So moving on to influence. So what does it mean to influence the unseen? Now, obviously we know a little bit about influencers in the world. You know, I think influencers once upon a time were, you know, seen to be celebrities, and then with the rise of bloggers, it, you know, really gave rise to the average person being able to have influence and share influence at scale. And that's the thing that excites me about digital. And Samita and I are actually having a really great chat about the power of digital and how you can actually reach so many people at scale. And, you know, when I think about it, and the more I think about the opportunities on LinkedIn in particular, the opportunities for investing in a sound digital strategy mean that you can create a boardroom without borders. So not only are you then going to be influencing whoever's sitting in front of you, but you can now influence people on the other side of the world. And I'm sure that there are a lot of you from, you know, not from Melbourne or not even from Australia here today, and you're getting the chance to actually hopefully be influenced by me. but it's just incredible for me, I think, the power that digital has. And even, you know, going through, say, the campaign that I'm going through at the moment, I feel really fortunate because we're all in lockdown. So what that means is traditional campaigning doesn't work. So we can't be going around standing at train stations handing out leaflets. So what that means is, and that this is actually, to be honest with you, one of the big reasons they brought me on board is because I've been cultivating and building a digital community over the past, 12 months on LinkedIn in particular. And for them, it just means that every time I want to say something, I can just do a post about it. If our campaign has if our team has a new policy, I can post about it. Whereas other teams are relying on the media and the traditional media to pick up their announcements. So for me, I personally can't even imagine a world like the. We actually have someone on our team who doesn't have social media, and I was shocked. I was like, what do you mean you don't have social media? How do you get your message across at scale then? And I was like, actually, my mind was so blown, I think because I've lived and breathed it for so long. So yeah, so I thought that was actually quite interesting. So when it comes to influencing at scale in the digital space from a business perspective, the exciting opportunity that businesses have is that people prefer to do businesses, like people do business with people. They don't do it with companies. So I know that people always talk about B2C marketing versus B2B marketing, but what they forget to realize is that when you talk about B2B, the B representing business it's like a group of people. So a business is effectively just a whole lot of people put together. So you're still, to some degree, marketing B2C in the sense you're still targeting people. So the exciting opportunity is that because people prefer to connect with people and engage with people, you can leverage your people to actually communicate the values of your brand. So if you look at your execs and your C-suite, and there probably is going to be some of you in that position on this call today, then you can be the personification of your brand's values. And that's really exciting because it no longer means that a value is a word on a website. So for example, you value culture. What it can mean is that someone in your organization can bring that value to life by talking about the amazing cultural things that your company invests in and share that on digital. And that's an amazing power to have. And that's actually more engaging than any words on a website will be. So think about the content that you engage with on LinkedIn. I can guarantee that as you're scrolling through your feed, the things that are going to make you stop more are people. So when you're next scrolling through your social media, and even think about the people that you follow on social media, or the accounts, sorry, that you follow on social media, I can guarantee the majority of them will be people. And that's because we want to connect with people. So if you want to create for your business a boardroom without borders, then you definitely need to be getting your employees and your team active on social media. And this is an amazing way to actually influence the unseen and grow brand awareness at scale. So rather than just talk to 5 people in a boardroom, you can all of a sudden be talking to 5,000 people all around the world, or 500 people, or if you're someone really famous, 5 million people, and maybe that could be all us one day. But there's just a lot of possibility in actually harnessing the power of digital for good. So in terms of the, I think a lot of people really think about the power of the media, and the media arguably has probably a decrease in power lately due to the decline in circulation and numbers who are actually reading the content. So social, we're finding, is the new way of the future to consume content and to get up to the minute media. So I know that, say, if I think something's happened, I'll probably just go on LinkedIn or go on Twitter, because someone's going to be able to quickly just do a post that doesn't need to be checked by an editor. So I personally go to social to find the breaking news. And the interesting thing is people, really put a lot of trust in the media to report and portray their brand in the way that they want to be portrayed. But the reality is you can't control the media. So you can't control what the media or people say about you. So that means that there's actually a big risk to your organization because you don't know what they're going to say about you. So if you want to take back that control and mitigate your risk, and influence what comes your way rather than be left at the, you know, the mercy of what people might say about you, then you have the power to control the narrative on your channels. And the exciting thing is LinkedIn is the perfect platform to do this. So look, I could talk about LinkedIn for hours, and I really try not to do this, but I really wanted to just give you a quick snapshot because I'm clearly obsessed with the platform. But there's no surprise that it's the #1 form of social media for the business professional. To be honest with you, they're very lucky because they don't really have any competition in the space, and they've done a really good job to cultivate a unique community of almost 7 million professionals. So the exciting opportunity for me though on LinkedIn is that if you look at platforms like Instagram and Facebook, they're what we call content saturated platforms. So there's a lot more content than users on the platform, which is why the organic reach is so bad, and it's really hard to grow and get your content seen. Whereas if you look at like a platform like LinkedIn, then there's actually amazing opportunities on the platform because it's a content deficit platform. So there's actually more users than content. So there's actually only 3 million people posting out of the 700 million. And that seems really crazy to me. So if you're good at math, I'm pretty sure you'll go, that's a pretty big opportunity. And let me tell you, it definitely is. So when you find that you do a post and you post for the first time and you start to build a bit of momentum, what you probably find is the actual reach of that post will end up being more than your followers. And sometimes it can be 3 times more, sometimes it can be even 10 times more. And that to me is, a social media platform sitting there ready to be taken advantage of. Now, the reality is it's not always going to be like that. So probably within 6 to 12 months, and already since we've been in lockdown, I've seen a change in the algorithm and you just don't get as much reach as you used to get. And that's because there's a lot more people posting than there used to be. And that's because a lot of us are in lockdown. But what it means is that, we've had to change the way we network, and LinkedIn is the perfect place to do that. So in terms of the stats, I won't run too much more through them, but in terms of where you want to target and who you want to target, I can guarantee pretty much 99% of them will probably be on LinkedIn. Now, the interesting thing about LinkedIn, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't know, is that the algorithm does not prioritize content from business pages. And we talk to LinkedIn directly, and I'm not sure why that's the case. But I really do believe that it's because people naturally feel more inclined to connect with people. So what does that mean for you? Well, firstly, if you want to leverage the power of the algorithm now, then do it through your people, because personal page content will perform better. Of course, as businesses, we still need to have a LinkedIn business presence. So the important thing that you need to do is humanize your content. So it's no good just posting, beautifully graphic design, artwork or quotes or whatever's relevant, or stats relevant to your industry. What's going to be a lot more powerful is if a key stakeholder in your business talks about the reports or talks about the stats, because people are more likely to connect then and listen and engage and want to maybe share the content or consume the content. So really, people are your secret weapon, so you have to use them. And now the interesting thing about Corona, and actually if you follow me on LinkedIn, if you don't, definitely connect with me and you can say that you attended this seminar in the comments, in the message. But if you actually follow me, you'll see that my content is actually just created on my mobile phone. So I just talk to my phone, I set up in a tripod, and then I just post content every day. So my content is pretty raw. And the exciting thing about LinkedIn is that I think once upon a time, people really thought everything on the platform had to be overly produced. So everything has to be beautifully edited to within an inch of its life. Every video has to be crisply shot. But the reality is, I think COVID's really brought about a change to that, which is exciting, and I'll talk a bit about that later on. But you no longer have to have everything so beautifully produced. And a lot of big businesses have been forced to just actually sometimes shoot some of their executives or have them shoot content on their phone, because there's no way you can send a camera person out to them, or they're not even allowed to be in the office. So it's been really interesting over the past 6 months to really see the shift in content on LinkedIn. But the interesting thing for me about that platform versus other platforms, say like Instagram, is that it's not actually how you're saying the message, it's what you're saying on LinkedIn that's important. So you could have, look, and obviously you don't want to have, a video of you in the dark or anything inappropriate, but what you need to realize is there's not as much pressure to be perfect and have everything professionally done. So for me, being someone in business, it means that we can be so much more agile and we don't have to be so stressed out about making sure that everything is pixel perfect, which means you can produce a lot more content, which means your brand will get seen by a lot more people. So why should executives be active on LinkedIn? And I've been talking to a lot of enterprise about this, and there's quite a few reasons. So obviously humanizing your brand, that's a given, and I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'll talk about it in the next slide. So I would also say attract talent. So executives, especially the business, are prime profile viewing targets. So their profiles will actually shape opinions that not only impact sales, but attract talent. So I know that, say, for example, when people are looking to join a company, they naturally go to and have a look at the execs of the company. And I can guarantee pretty much most of them probably won't be posting. But if you have an exec or an exec team who are active on the platform, it's going to tell that talent so much about the business. It's going to say that they're digitally savvy, they're forward thinking. It's going to establish them as thought leaders. So it can actually really throw a halo effect on the company brand if the actual exec team are posting great content and very active on LinkedIn. It can obviously influence. So if you are posting the right content and if you have the right strategy, you can quickly establish yourself as a thought leader. Now, for me, I find it quite funny because about 10 months ago, I never posted on LinkedIn. Now I'm doing talks about how to get active on LinkedIn all the time because I'm just constantly posting and I'm active on the platform. But for me, I've been very lucky because I'm so active, people think of me and I'm always top of mind when opportunities come up. So recently I spoke at New Zealand Tech Week and they just found me on LinkedIn and contacted me and I did a talk there. So for me, it's like if you can stay top of mind and you're constantly getting out there, you can quickly be seen as a thought leader because there's a perception that, okay, that person's talking a lot. They must have some idea of what they're talking about, even if you're like me and you're sort of just flying by the seat of the pants most of the time. So Inspire is for me personally a really great opportunity for posting content on LinkedIn. So if you have the right content, you can not only inspire your team and your company, but you can also inspire the wider business community as a whole. And I've really felt, very fortunate that, I just post content that has maybe inspired me or taught me something. And I've built an amazing community of people who are not just like-minded, but are always interested in bettering themselves. And I share a lot of content on my thoughts on leadership, on digital marketing, on scaling businesses, on being a good manager, or in my case, trying to be a good manager. And I feel that a lot of us, especially on LinkedIn, are on that self-learning journey. And there's really an amazing community that you can connect with, who you can take along with you for the ride as you learn. So LinkedIn is also an amazing way to actually promote others. So you can recognize amazing company initiatives and highlight the team that have executed those initiatives. You can also talk about special events that you're holding. So there's a really great way to actually reach an audience who'll be interested in what you're doing and what your brand's doing. Now, we can also build trust on LinkedIn, and having the executives active on LinkedIn, it just means that you can have people, and I think for me personally, I feel that I connect more with people talking about values rather than just seeing them written down on a piece of paper. So if you can see that an executive is genuine and actually cares about their people, cares about their clients, cares about the company and what they do, then that's an amazing and powerful way to build trust in the brand. So for me, there's no better way than empowering your executive team to be out there and posting on social media. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an example actually, because, and I'm not sure if you guys know, there's a big bank in Australia called ANZ Bank. and they're not a client of mine. I wish they were. So ANZ, if you're listening, please get in contact. But, you know, I think for me, look, the importance is, you know, and I think that one of the main points to come out of the previous slide for me is humanizing your brand. So as we discussed previously, the best way to build trust in your brand quickly is through people. And that's because people do business with people and not companies. And as I mentioned before, brand values can be brought to life through your people. So I personally have found that, you know, it's quite interesting because I never thought about doing business and big deals via the internet and via video conferencing, but we've all had to adjust. So I'm sure that over the past 6 months, you guys have had to do big transactions over a Zoom or over webcam, which in the past never would have happened. And a lot of the people that I'm working with today, I've never even met in person. And that's really quite a shift in the way that we do business. And really that's enabled and that's possible by people being open to deal with people. And you don't necessarily have to be there in person to deal with them. So if you can humanize your brand, you're going to make it so much easier to actually connect with people and get people to trust your brand, even if you can't get in front of them face to face. Now, I wanted to share this example of ANZ because it was really interesting for me when I saw it pop up in my feed. So I follow Shane Elliott, who's the CEO of ANZ, and he posted this photo of him just sitting at his desk. I was like, what's that photo? Why is he just sitting at his desk? And I think for me, it was a bit shocking because I thought, oh, what's he doing? It looks really unpolished. And I really connected with it. I really remembered it. And actually, I wasn't following him at the time. It popped up in my feed and then I went to go and follow him. And this is actually his most recent post. And he talks about working from home and he talks about the objects on his desk. I thought that is so random coming from the CEO of a massive bank. And I loved it. Like I read the article, I was like, oh, wow, that photo was your, you know, your grandfather and, you know, you and him on a fishing trip or whatever the token was. And I just thought, what an amazing way to actually care about and show that you're just a human being. You're not, you know, some unreachable CEO. You're just like everyone else, stuck at home. So I actually took a couple of screenshots of the different posts that I really loved from not only Shane Elliott's page, but the ANZ page as a whole. And Shane actually did this fantastic interview with a graduate who just started at ANZ a couple of weeks before lockdown hit. So he was talking to her about what her experience was, and he's the CEO of the company and he's talking to the graduate. And I just thought that's such a great way to show that you're really connected with your people. And for me, that really says that, you know, even if you're at the top of the tree, you're still talking to people at any level of business. And that's really important for me as someone who isn't a fan of ego and who doesn't, you know, think that just because you have a title, you're better than everyone else. For me, that reflects really positively on the company. So they've got lots of videos by their team doing charity work. They've got, you know, this picture for their graduate program. I just thought that looks like it's been taken on someone's phone. Like it didn't even look like it was one of those polished stock image type photos where you've got, you know, 5 people standing in a row and you're probably thinking none of them even work at ANZ. So I really liked how raw their content was, and it really allowed me to connect with them at a brand level, and it really cut through the noise on social. So if you are interested in seeing a company do well in the humanizing their brand on social, definitely check out ANZ. They're doing an amazing job. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this. God, we've been looking at so many screens over the so many video conferences over the past, you know, 6 months. But I like this piece of content because it's so relatable, and everyone who's in business can definitely relate to this. So yeah, I think this is a fantastic example of how you can do well on LinkedIn. Now, I'm almost done, so hopefully you're still with me. So now, how can your business get active on LinkedIn? So there's going to be a few ways. So a couple of ways that I've suggested is start off small. So you can just start off by activating a few key stakeholders and getting them to be posting on social media. Now, the key is making sure that they have a personal brand strategy that fits in with the wider business brand. And the reason I say this is because there's no point activating someone on LinkedIn and activating an executive if they're just going to be posting business content that's being shared from the business page, because then people might as well just follow the business page. And actually, to give you a red hot tip, LinkedIn actually don't favor sharing content. So if you want to post content that your company's got on their page, you're better off actually posting it natively. So getting the actual video or getting the copy and writing it yourself rather than sharing it. And I don't know why the algorithm does this, but I think a lot of people fall into this trap because it's easy to do. You just literally click a button and share the content. But your content will perform a lot better if you actually post it natively. Now, a lot of people have no idea how to post or get active on LinkedIn. So you can engage either someone in the business who's experienced and get them to provide training to key stakeholders, or you can engage a company like myself and we can actually train your team on how to actually get active on the platform. So what employees also need is for you to encourage them. So help them optimize their profile, help them post content by giving them assets, and help them and encourage them to engage with the content on your company page. So there's actually a function on the LinkedIn business page where you can notify all employees that a post has gone live. So what better way to actually boost engagement than to actually get people who are actually in your company to like and comment on the post? Because what that means is people will naturally go and like and engage it, hopefully, and then it will show up in their feed. So it'll actually get seen by more people. Now, as we spoke about earlier, there is a risk potentially if you're posting on digital, but it's really important that you do this. So to be honest with you, it's not really a negotiation anymore. It's just a must have part of your strategy, your marketing strategy. So what that means is do not take shortcuts. If you're investing in digital, do it properly because a lot is at stake here. And I've seen brands cop a lot of criticism and negative media because they've just taken shortcuts. So they haven't put in place things like approval of posts by key stakeholders within the business before posts go out. So whether it's the legal team or the compliance team or whoever it is inside your business, make sure that there are checks and balances in place to ensure that people are making sure that every piece of content, every comment is going to be on brand and representative of the presence that you want to have in the digital world. So either engage an agency or employ the right people internally because there's just too much at stake for you to not do this properly. So now, if your company is slow to want to get onto the digital platforms or slow to want to empower their stakeholders, then I've got some tips for you that you can take away today. So this is not my current profile. So if you go and have a look for me, I've got a different banner because I'm in full campaign mode. So I've got my campaign banner on, but this is my normal Cody banner, which is my company banner. So now this is one of the biggest opportunities that I see missed in the corporate space. So when you look at someone's LinkedIn profile, have a look at where your eyes automatically drawn. It's either drawn to the profile picture or it's drawn to the banner because that's massive real estate. And the number of companies I see where there's an absolute inconsistency of banners across the exec level or employees, or there is no banner at all, actually baffles me because I think that is key prime real estate right there for your brand. So if I look at my LinkedIn stats, I probably get on average 20,000 profile views every 90 days. So that's 20,000 people I could expose to my brand just by having my banner updated. So I actually created this banner for my company and I actually also gave it to all of my employees to put on. So if you go to anyone in Cody Agency, they'll have that banner. And that for me is amazing marketing. And that's a huge brand awareness. And that's literally just getting someone to design a banner and then circulate it. So that's a really quick win for you and the business. Now, profile picture. I have seen some terrible profile pictures in my time. If you look like a serial killer in your profile picture, I will not accept your connection request. If you look like you're trying to pick up someone on LinkedIn in your profile picture, I will not accept your connection request. So just remember, guys, this is not a dating platform. As much as I love receiving date requests, marriage proposals, pictures of flowers, all of that on LinkedIn, please do not treat it like a dating platform. It is a professional social networking platform. So make sure that you keep your profile picture professional. If possible, make sure it's high res, and also make sure you can see your face properly, especially if you're looking to network and reach out to people, because there's something about a human face that breeds natural trust. So if someone is hiding their face, then you think, what have they got to hide? And I can tell you, I've received so many connection requests by people either trying to do something really arty, or they're sitting there on the floor doing I don't know what, and someone's taken a photo of them and they put that as their profile. The chances of someone accepting your request when you aren't looking at the camera or your photo isn't right is actually significantly lower. So make sure that profile picture is right. So one line pitch. Now this, for me, this headline is beyond important. And the reason is, when your content appears in a social media or in the LinkedIn feed, you'll see the content, whatever you're posting, but people won't see your bio. They won't see your profile. They won't see any of that. So what you need to do is make sure that this like little one-line pitch is seen, because that's actually going to allow you to quickly represent who you are, what you stand for, what company you work for. Now, if you're lucky enough to work for a company that everyone knows what they do, like an Apple or Amazon, then that's great. You don't need to explain what your company does. Obviously, at Cody Agency, I operate on the assumption that no one has any idea what the hell Cody Agency is. So I put in my one-liner that we do digital marketing, where I've actually specifically had a strong CTA saying, if you need help with digital marketing, contact me. And I get a lot of leads just by having a strong CTA. Now, just to finish off, I want to talk about the bio, because I see a lot of people do a really average job with their bio. A lot of the time they talk about the company that they work for or the company that they own. And the fact of the matter is that information's great if you're a company page, but you're a human, so you're a personal page. So your bio should be about you. And this is the best way to actually communicate who you are, what you stand for, what you're passionate about. And you don't have to put in anything about job titles or dates. It's really just a chance for you to express what makes you unique and what makes you different. So I want to see all of you out there update your bios to make them better, because there's a really good opportunity here to stand out. One tip I want to say is, other than just avoiding big chunks of text because no one wants to read that, is don't be afraid to have a bit of a personality. Yes, it's a professional site, so don't be unprofessional, but show what makes you different. And if that's your personality, then that's fantastic. So I think that's, oh my God, I'm so sorry. One more slide, I'm almost there. Okay, so I'll quickly touch on these. So key tips for posting on LinkedIn. So general versus technical. So if you want to post technical posts, definitely do that, but you need to do a mix of general. So I actually post predominantly 90%, I would say, general business topics. This picture I'm wearing the same outfit. Oh, that was awkward. I swear I do own other clothes. So this was my most popular post, and it was actually how Samantha and I you saw my content from this post, but it was how if you're the 79% of the population who check their phone within the first 15 minutes of waking up, then this is why you need to stop. And the reason why I believe that post was the most popular was because pretty much everyone wants to use their phone less, so it's very relatable. Whereas if I did a post on, say, what the LinkedIn algorithm's doing today, not as many people might be interested because they're not interested in posting on LinkedIn. So that's why it's important to do general as well as technical. Video, honestly, I can't talk enough about video. It's the best way to actually communicate your passion for what you do and your personality and thought leadership. So for me, if you can get onto video, do it. Now, don't aim for perfection. I think Jeff Bezos said that in Amazon, they get things 60% perfect and then just release it. So for me, look, if it's 70% perfect, just post it. Like, I stuff up all the time on my LinkedIn vids. I stumble over my words. I'll forget what I'm saying halfway through a video. But like I said before, it's the message that matters, not the delivery. So it's really important that you just get your message out there and not worry necessarily about how it actually is delivered. So clickbait. Now this is important because only the first 3 lines of your post show up in the feed, so you've got to make them count. So for me, it's really important that you make sure that you not put too much of the good stuff down below in case people don't engage and don't actually click to see more. Also think in content. So I'm going to give you a little bit of gold here, because hopefully you picked up a tip from today's talk, either from myself or some of the other amazing guests. but that's content. So if you learn something today, then I can guarantee there is someone out there in your community that would not know that, you know, LinkedIn can make you a boardroom without borders, or it can, you know, this is, it's good to do a general and technical mix of content on LinkedIn. So I'm hoping and praying that you learned one thing from my talk at least, and maybe something, well, you know, you would have definitely learned something from the other people's talks, but that is content. And for me, I always just think, did I learn something from that? Was I inspired by that? Yeah, okay, great. I'll share it on LinkedIn. And if it helps one other person, then that's amazing. It was, you know, one more person than I helped by not posting it. So for me, thinking in content will really change the way you view the world and the way you view social media. Now, this is the big one because I really, oh, actually, sorry, I'm going to quickly touch on I actually dropped this in there because I was like, oh, wow, I wanted to check on the hashtag risk management. So all of you obviously in the industry, and there's almost 1.5 million people following that hashtag. So 1.5 million people that will get to see your content if you actually post about it. So for me, that's like incredible reach, an incredible opportunity. So on the topic of hashtags, if you're looking at doing hashtags, I would definitely recommend it. 5 to 6 are the best practice. Now, this is the big one, guys, because I know that this stops a lot of you from posting. Now, for some crazy reason, we really give a crap about what someone behind a keyboard that we might not even know thinks. And look, the world is unfortunately full of amazing people, but full of, you know, there are some sad people out there as well. So for us, it's, as humans, it can hurt, obviously, if you see someone write something negative. And like, I've been fully exposed to that in the world of politics. It's a crazy, crazy place. But, you know, I think something that Gary Vee said, which I really took to heart, was that, you know, don't value other people's opinions more than your own ambitions and happiness. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from today around posting, is that people are going to have opinions about you no matter what. So it's really important that, you know, you realize that you can't control what people are going to think of you. You can put out the best content you can, but you can't control what they're going to perceive and the opinion they're going to form of you. So don't give a shit about it. Don't care, because as you've seen from the start of my presentation, there are some incredible, incredible opportunities to have. You can help people at scale, you can further your career, you can grow your company. So why not do that and not let other people's thoughts and opinions stand in your way of doing that? So I've really rambled on. I'm really sorry. That was quite a long talk. I went way over time. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for having a chat, for dialing in today. I really appreciate it. I think we're going to move into the Q&A, but I really appreciate your time. So thank you for tuning in.
And Lisa, just want to say on behalf of IAG, RIMS and our audience today, I'm sure that was that helped a lot of people. We really value your generosity and authenticity in bringing these really practical things to us today. I know that working with you in the past, you're someone that doesn't hold back, and really appreciate your generosity.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, look, if you go onto my channels, and I hope you can tell today, you know, I came from a tax background, and no offense to anyone in taxi, it wasn't for me. I was, I didn't find it I guess, energizing, but I love digital marketing. Like, there's incredible opportunity. So I really want all of you out there to take that and not let, you know, other things like stand in your way from doing that. And I really hope a lot of you out there really encourage internally in your businesses to do that.
So Lisa, we've got a few questions here that I would love to get through, because we've got, I think, 4 minutes before I need to hand it up for closing. So if you don't mind, I'll just jump straight in.
Yes.
A really good one from Lokesh Thondavada here is, a major issue with corporate world is internal corporate communications and marketing protocols, which become a hindrance rather than positively being on a digital platform. What can marketing and corporate comms do to change this? And I suppose an add-on to that is, what can you do to change that as an individual?
Yes, great question. And look, this is the big problem when you're working with big corporates. they're going to actually try and stop you from doing anything because it's risky. So what you need to get them to do is potentially hire someone like myself or someone internally to do training, so people understand what's expected of them on the platform and what's acceptable. You can also get them to provide a guide to you. So this can be something that they develop internally and say, this type of content is acceptable on the platform, this type of content isn't acceptable on the platform. And if they can also dedicate a resource to you as an individual to go to if you want to check about certain content that you're looking at posting, then that would be fantastic as well, because then you can get active and know that, oh, I'm not sure if this post is okay. I might go and actually just check with this person internally and make sure it's okay. So I think that there's definitely ways that corporates can empower their employees. So ideally, they're not just not posting at all because they're too scared. And I know a lot of companies actually just have employees put on their profile, like, you know, the views that I share on my platform are my own and not representative of the company. So that's kind of like a good catch-all as well if you're worried about things and empowering your team to actually post.
Fantastic. The next one comes from Diba Danielle, and I'm going through these in terms of popularity, Lisa. So the question is, well, thanks, Lisa, practical and insightful presentation, so well done. How often should you post, or is it based on when you have quality content?
I see, that's a really good one. And the question I put to you is, what's quality content? Because a lot of people go, oh, no, I don't want to post that post. It's not, I don't know if it's any good. But I think we really overanalyze what quality content is, because by doing that, and it comes back to also that topic about perfection, it's like you don't know what people are going to respond to. Because some of the posts that I posted, which I thought this post is absolutely a dud. And it's like, you know, some of those posts that I thought were going to be a dud are like my best performing posts. Like I remember doing a post, I was sitting outside a hotel in Sydney waiting for my juice. It was 7 a.m. in the morning. I was in my PJs. It was really windy. And I thought, oh God, I might as well just do a LinkedIn vid. And I talked about culture and I posted and I thought, oh, look, it wasn't perfect. It was probably the sound was really bad. And that was one of my top performing posts. So I think firstly, don't worry so much about quality because it's really subjective. I think get the message out there. So whatever you're doing, just keep being consistent. Now, what I would say to you is, look, you can post every day. There are people that post multiple times a day. I would say if you're looking to get seriously active on the platform, I would be posting a minimum of 2 times a week. But in reality, set a posting schedule that's actually going to be achievable for you, because there's nothing worse than going, I'm so inspired from today, I'm going to post every single day on LinkedIn, and you do post the first 2 days, and then on day 3, you're like, what am I going to post? What am I going to post? Oh, damn it, I'll post tomorrow. And then you quickly get defeated because you've missed a day. So I think whatever you decide to do, and if it's realistic for you to post every day, by all means do it, because you're going to get to where you want to go faster by doing that. But if you don't think that that's realistic, then just set something that's realistic. And you might even just be once a month. It might be once a week. There's no necessarily right or wrong, but I would say stick to something that's going to be consistent.
Yeah, fantastic. And I know that that's the difference in terms of when you're talking about quality and your lens on the quality. That's the difference between you getting 15,000 views, likes, etc., and someone else getting maybe. But Lisa, look, I think I need to hand it over to Brian for a closing now, because we've got 3 minutes. Again, thank you very much. There are a few more questions in there. Perhaps while Brian's closing, you could type some answers in as he's doing that. But from all the last, Lisa, thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. And Brian, RIMS, it's over to you.
So while they're unmuting, I'm going to quickly jump in and be cheeky and say that if you have questions that I haven't answered today, please find me on LinkedIn, shoot me a DM. I'm more than happy to answer anything. If you have any questions following this presentation as well that you haven't asked, please feel free to message me as well. I'm always, as I'm sure you can tell, happy to talk about LinkedIn. Always, as you can tell, happy to talk about LinkedIn.
Thanks very much, Lisa and Samara. Look, I'm not quite what I can actually say after that presentation. I think just difficult to grasp them all at the moment because of a presentation, and I think that the information that you provided and the experiences you shared have been quite exceptional for one of our sessions. So we really do appreciate that that contribution. Samantha, thank you very much for your expert facilitation, and we are certainly look forward to continuing with Insurance Australia Group, creating professional development opportunities and education opportunities for future generations of risk management professionals. So thanks for outstanding the whole session. So thank you.